Hi, team. Hello and happy Friday. I hope you guys have had a great week. I had an incredible week. I just got back from Arizona, Nevada, and California, back home to Florida. So I have a lot to talk about. But I wanted to start by telling you guys, people keep asking, when are you going to do your podcast again? I pretty much think this is my podcast now. So I had been broadcasting just an audio podcast. Look, I pointed at my ears. Audio. The visual so you understand. I've been broadcasting that way for a very long time. And then last year when I went through treatment, my brain broke a little bit and I just didn't have the capacity to sit down and, I don't know, generate thought for an hour or 30 minutes even. So I let it lag. But now with new technology, I just really value the opportunity to stare you guys in the face while I'm talking. And I wish you could stare me back in the face. We're going to have to figure that out. But yeah, this is the new podcast for all of my Fitzness fiends and my runners who say I like to listen while I run. Okay, well, listen to this. This is live now, but if you're listening to it on replay, you don't have to look at my face. Please don't. Watch where you're going. And yeah, this is the Fitzness Show. So I'm happy you're here. And don't forget to use the comment section. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So say hi, ask questions, comments. I'm happy to see it all. I'm happy to see Jade with her pretty rainbow. Nice profile picture. Hello, Jade. So this is one, well, I want to talk about a lot of things today, but I just got back from announcing the Lake Havasu half marathon and 5K. And it's a very big deal for a variety of reasons, but namely, I haven't been on the microphone at a race since March 8th of 2020. And so as the world shut down, specifically events shut down and mass gatherings, and what do? I do mass gatherings. That is exactly what I do. So when they said, y'all can't get together, my career went, and the things I love to do crashed too. So yeah, I mean, this is not just work. This is not, I mean, it is work, but I almost feel like the work I do is insulting to call it work because it's so much fun and it's so enjoyable. And I feel like it's disparaging to call race announcing or teaching fitness work because it doesn't feel like work. Hi, James. It feels like a luxury and a pleasure. And I missed it very much. Well, Jade, this is what I like to talk about, getting fit. So you're in luck. Thank you, Jim. I'm going to call you Jim. Can we do Jim? I like Jim. And Helen from Canada. Hello, Helen. So yeah, getting back on the microphone at a race was such a great gift. But before we get there, I'm going to talk about getting to first Nevada. So Florida, Gainesville, Florida, to Las Vegas. And good morning, Andrew. Hi. Or it's not even good morning. Good afternoon. Hello. I'm going to stick with hello from now on. But yeah, so got to Las Vegas, and, you know, Vegas is the city of debauchery and unhealthiness in many regards. And so I'm going to start there, and then I'll move into the healthy stuff. But I flew Delta One. So if you guys are familiar with how things work on airplanes, and I fly a lot. So I'm a platinum medallion member, which means, you know, you fly so many times and they say, okay, we're giving you some loyalty points because you keep coming back. And I'm a Delta Sky Miles member. And so what's happened is usually I get a bump. I book coach every time, but I get a bump up to Delta Comfort, which gives you a little wiggle room and maybe better snacks. And then quite often I also get bumped up to first. Remember, I'm not paying $1,000 a flight or worse. They just bump me up. So that itself is really nice. And with COVID, you know, the planes are emptier because less people are traveling. They stopped giving out the hot meals. Cry me a river, but it's kind of crappy snacks now. But the bonus is, instead of their normal fleet of domestic planes they're using the planes that traditionally go back and forth to internationally. And because of that, we're getting the gift of this thing called Delta One. And there's Martha. This is so great. I met Martha on the plane on the way to Vegas. Actually, I didn't meet her. We interacted on the plane. I didn't know her in advance. Anyway, so these seats they decline all the way into a flat bed. You have your own little cubby space, and I feel like a Saudi Arabian princess, just the girl who can travel wherever she wants and be super fancy. But yeah, you're like straight flat, and then you have a remote control for your flat screen TV and big fuzzy earphones, and it's very exciting. So very exciting. And I am so squirmy. I'm not a good sitter downer. Like sitting in a chair is torture for me. So the fact that I just get to lie flat takes the suffering out of flying. So that's exciting. I got that on the way to Vegas and back. But interestingly enough, and this is how the world is also so small, is where the flight is just taking off, and I'm trying to get my TV to work. My TV has already worked, but now the screen is black, and I'm trying to get it to come on. And I'm pressing the screen like a weirdo. Like that, and I'm getting no response. And finally, the woman next to me, she goes, "It won't work," while the flight attendant's talking. So, okay, I had to wait patiently. But what I noticed is this woman, she stood out because she was wearing a full Duke warm-up suit, which I had just interviewed Coach Steve Spurrier, who used to be coach of the Duke Blue Devils. And so I almost said like, "Hey, do you know Steve Spurrier?" And then I thought, oh, that's stupid. I'm not going to say anything. But she also had an Alabama elephant with a Crimson Tide jersey and an Elmo doll with some other university, I think Wisconsin. And so I thought, wow, she's a sporty girl. I wonder what her deal is. But anyways, I minded my own business, and I didn't interact with this woman. 3 days later at the expo for the Havasu half marathon, she comes up and she goes, "I sat next to you on the plane. I helped you work your screen." Oh my God, that was you. It was totally you. So I thought that was very interesting. It was one of my runners on the plane. We hadn't met yet, but now, now I think we're lifelong friends. That's Martha Oss, and she's so smart and so interesting, as is her husband, Bob. So that was a real pleasure to meet her. And it reminded me, last time I was boarding a plane home from the Los Angeles Marathon, I was getting on the plane with my LA Marathon jacket, and the flight attendant, she goes, "Did you run this weekend?" And I said, "No, I was a race announcer." And she just squealed at the top of her lungs. She's like, "Oh my God, I saw you. I love you," blah, blah, blah. And so the whole plane was like, who is that? They had no idea who I was, as they should probably not know who I was, because race announcing isn't like the thing. It's not like Jennifer Aniston stuff, but she made it seem like I was. And so the whole plane was kind of confused. Like, who is this person she's so excited about? But it was very, very sweet. So, hi, Tim Powell. Hello. So anyways, I get to Las Vegas, and the first thing I do is go to this museum, which I love. And it's something I want everybody to go to because it's so fabulous. I went to it once before in San Jose, and they have a variety of exhibits around the US and also around the world, but it's called The Bodies. And it is freaking fantastic. And especially someone like me who makes a career and a living out of the human body, it's extraordinary. It's a display of the human body that has been mummified and has had the skin removed. I know some of you are like, ugh. And I actually thought it might be gory too, because I'm a little squeamish, but oh my gosh, it's mesmerizing. So all of these humans posed in incredible positions, maybe swinging a baseball bat or dancing, and you get to see every ounce of their muscle fiber, their entire digestive system laid out, their nervous system. And oh my gosh, the nervous system, incredible. Basically, our body is a bunch of strings, billions and billions of really smart strings that come together to do extraordinary things. But the whole exhibit is phenomenal. I'm actually looking up on my phone so I can show you on the screen some of these images. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. So you may not like this very much, but look at this guy. So they have the muscles pulled apart so you can see the bones. Look at the femur. The deltoids are lifted up. And many of you might think, oh, that's gory. And perhaps it is. But these are real humans. And to understand what actually is going on inside our body is incredible. Look, spinal column. The spinal cord has a consistency of an overripe banana. It is so fragile. And it's the thing that keeps us moving, right? You damage your spinal column, you may not ever, or a spinal cord, you may never move again. but it is so perfectly protected by our vertebrae, and it's just the whole exhibit is mind-boggling. And this is the juicy details, right? So you're in there and you're thinking, um, what is whose bodies are these, right? Because they're muscularly developed. So in my mind, they're not 85-year-olds, right? They're in their prime, and someone who is healthy like that probably isn't volunteering to say, hey, use my body for this exhibit because you have to die, right? And then I imagine if you're someone who's died of a disease, perhaps your organs don't look so good to be displayed, although they do have a few sick organs on display, especially lungs. And if you're a smoker, stop. It's disgusting it's disgusting in real life, but on the inside, it's really, really foul. Hello, Mike. Hello, Rachel. Oh, Rachel, we have to have lunch since you live in Gainesville now. But yeah, you wonder whose bodies are these? And then when I left, I looked it up. I should have looked it up while I was there, but horrible. And it's kind of rumors, right? So the company that creates the bodies is a private company, and they're responsible for the mummification process, and it is mummification. And they have some solutions that they put on your body to make your plasticize your muscles and organs so they don't dissolve, wither away as body parts do over time. So plasticize the whole thing. But these bodies, the rumor has it, on Wikipedia at least, it says that they are two things. Number one, people from China who had no next of kin, so nobody wanted them, and there wasn't a specific place to put their bodies. But it also says the bodies of Chinese prisoners. Yikes! Yikes! So yeah, I mean, the exhibit is extraordinary, and you should go see it. You should go see it. There's so much to learn and so much to appreciate about the human body. I mean, I have 2 kids, and I think, how was I smart enough? How was my tummy smart enough to make that nervous system and those bones and the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments and that digestive system? It's incredible. So everyone should see it, but there's a little, clearly a bit of a dark side behind it, and stuff that would likely never go on in the United States. It's a little eye-opening that China's like, okay, we're just going to donate these people's bodies to science. I think that should be voluntary. That's an ethical thing, and it doesn't have to be on, everybody shouldn't have to agree on that. But yeah, I was wondering, who are these people? And possibly people who, I don't know, had nowhere else to go when they died, but it's magnificent. I highly recommend. So I leave the bodies and I go to some of the casinos, and I did Bally's and Caesars. And I'm not a big gambler, but I am willing to throw some pennies in a slot machine. And for the weekend, I was down total. I confess, I lost $14. And yeah, Rachel's like, what? I know, Rachel, you have to go to this exhibit. It's crazy. So anyways, I go into the casinos, and just in general, they're they're beautiful and elaborate and ornate and interesting, but then I don't like being in places where people smoke. It's not my cup of tea. I will do it for brief moments of time in a place like Vegas to do something silly like the slot machine. But here's the deal. This is the thing I found most interesting is with the whole mask thing, right? So we've got all sorts of trains of thoughts. I'm personally not a fan of the mask. But in the casinos, the rule is you wear a mask unless you're eating, which makes sense, right? Unless you're drinking, makes sense. And unless you're smoking cigarettes. Yeah. So these people that care about your health, they're so concerned about your health. And once you wear a mask, unless you want to consume cancer-causing cigarettes, then go ahead. And that just blows my mind. Yeah, I'm with you, Tanya. Because you know what? People that say they care about your health, they allow smoking in general every day of the year, round the clock. This is okay for them. They put their employees in a building filled with smoke every day. All of those casino people, the I don't know what you call them, the casino workers. We're going to stick with that because I can't come up with the name. If you can come up with the name, help me out. What are the people that work the casinos? And those people, their wait staff, their restaurant, their managers, their security, every single day, those people are exposed to toxic, cancer-causing cigarette smoke. And that is not for debate. It's not only dangerous for firsthand, but it's secondhand recipient. Smoking causes cancer of your lungs, of your throat, head and neck cancers. It's disgusting and it reeks. And they're like, yeah, wear your mask. We're so concerned about you. Unless you want to smoke, go ahead, kill everybody. So I thought that was tremendous irony. What do you think about that? I think, I think it was horse doo-doo. I was really just appalled, and someone came over and I was sitting at the slot machine without a mask. And I was like, you got to put on a mask. And the dude next to me is smoking. I just like, no. The answer to that is no. I'm trying to get some fresh air here, so you and your little smoker-friendly rules can take a flying leap. But that was my, I don't know. I just thought that was a magnificent irony, and I had to share. Yeah, super bizarre. How does that work? Oh, and Rachel's father is a pulmonologist. So all about the lungs, all about the lungs. You can't have one and the other. It's like Fauci science. Yes, wear your mask, but go ahead and smoke. What? Oh my gosh. Yes. I can't see who you are, smoker, but yeah, smoker. I would say smoking probably killed my dad too, because he died. Well, he had esophageal cancer. They said he was cured, and then melanoma popped up. So anyways, yuck, and yuck to all of it. Let's see. Tanya said, allowing them to smoke keeps them at the machines. You're right. But what about the fresh air people? Maybe they could just put up the building for the people who want to die of smoke inhalation, and then the people who would like fresh air. There's probably enough space. I mean, Caesar's Palace, for crying out loud, is like a whole city that you could easily break it up into smokers on one side, healthy people on the other. This is the debate we could go to. Yeah, higher risk, right. And you're sitting there eating fried food and then worried about COVID. No, if either you care about your health or you don't. If you care about your health, you eat the healthy food, you exercise, you avoid alcohol and drugs, you definitely don't smoke cigarettes. And then there's those who are like, whatever. So we could go on forever. Hello, Jeremy. Oh, I love Jeremy. Jeremy, I just posted great photos of us on Instagram. Go take a look. Our finish line photos are extraordinary. So that was the very interesting side of Vegas. And I do appreciate Vegas. Sometimes I go there and I think, yuck, I don't want anything to do with it. But I was there last February for a running conference and I had a really good time. And I got to see Cirque du Soleil, which was extraordinary. And it kind of been on my bucket list forever. And that was a real privilege because they're so talented. So Cirque du Soleil has gone bankrupt this year. I'm hoping that they come back because just everything about it is breathtaking. The music, the artistry, the costumes, the makeup, the athleticism, and then some of the things they choose to have humans do with their bodies is just mind-blowing. So I hope Cirque comes back. And yeah, Vegas has its bright sides too, but this is the part of Vegas that I've never, ever, ever experienced, and I regret because I've been there total 4 times now. I've never experienced the great outdoors surrounding Vegas, and I feel like a fool for not having gone sooner. But for starters, Rudy came and picked me up, and Rudy is my announcing partner, AKA BFF. And we went over to Red Rock Canyon, and holy smokes, beautiful. Now, I was born and raised in Florida. I've traveled the world, but the reality is I spend most of my time in Florida. I'm just not exposed to mountains very often. And so when I am, I think, they're magnificent, right? I just can't get enough. And this particular canyon was extraordinary. It's only a 30-minute drive from the Vegas Strip, and you pay a little fee. There's Nevada State Parks. And then you can drive this 13-mile loop, and it has little parking spaces in designated areas where they deem things to be interesting. And they hit the nail on the head because I certainly found their choices interesting. But yeah, so look, this is what I'm showing you on my phone. This is part of the canyon. And so at one of the parks, well, many of the parks, we got to get out and climb. And I love climbing. Apparently, I should be a mountain climber person because I find it very easy and very fun, and I'm not scared at all. We went up, 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 and it was magnificent. And here's the deal. I'm a fit girl. I am. I'm super fit. I take great pride in my body and my health, and I work very hard. However, there were people from every walk of life. So if you're sitting around watching this and you're not in good shape, and maybe you're overweight, and maybe you're even a smoker, you can still go enjoy Red Rock Canyon. You can do it by car, but once you park, man, there were people of every type out climbing around the high stuff and the low stuff in this canyon. And it's just so magnificent. Our earth is incredible, and our country specifically. I know a lot of people say, yeah, they have no interest in international travel because there's so much to see here in the United States. And they're right. I personally love international travel, but whoa, does our country have some gorgeous gifts. And there were people of all ages. There were babies out there, which of course I feared for the babies a little bit. And then there were the elderly. There was every color of person. There was a woman in a burqa. There were obese people. I mean, it just was a little bit of everybody, and everybody could enjoy the canyons. And so, part of my role as a fitness professional for my entire life has been doing the arm twisting, telling people, you should get fit, go to the gym, go exercise, blah, blah, blah. But this, you can maybe take out of the exercise category, even though it's physically active, and put it in the athletic adventure category, right? Even if you just had your hip replaced, there's an opportunity for you to enjoy the canyons. And so, gotta go. You gotta plan this stuff. If you're going to Vegas, fine. If you love to gamble, yay for you. But get an Uber, rent a car for the day. I mean, you might rent a car for 40, 50 bucks, and then you get to go see one of like the most magnificent things on the planet right there next to Vegas. So it was fantastic. And I love the climbing up and the climbing down. And if I had more time, I could spend a week in those canyons just toiling around and exploring. It was really, really fun. It got super windy at parts. And then I'll hit on the next thing we did is on the way home from the race, or the way back to Vegas from the race, we stopped at Valley of Fire, which is something I had never even heard of. And I think, thanks, geography teachers. Why did you miss out on that? But it's, to me, now I've not been to the Grand Canyon, but I imagine it to be kind of a mini version of the Grand Canyon. And again, you pay $10 for your vehicle to go in, and there's all sorts of different routes you can take, but then all sorts of wonderful things to climb on. And here's just a little image that's kind of far off, but there's things that are much smaller and easier to access. There's Rudy in one of them. And again, so many people, red rocks everywhere. And then in one place, there's big white rocks called the White Dunes. Oh, and I just loved it. I highly recommend, if you go, you got to bring lots of water. Even if you're in your car, you got to bring lots of water, lots of sunscreen, snacks. You got to have snacks anytime you're going to go outdoors. You got to have snacks. Your GPS, the phone reception kind of stunk out there. What else? Moisturizer. It was very dry. And I bought a hat. I bought a very cool, I don't have it with me, but Nevada Parks hat, which will bring fond memories. I'm not one of those souvenir persons where I got to get a t-shirt from everywhere I went. But the trucker hat, very, very cool. But I highly recommend that. And one of the things I thought as I was enjoying it so much is that, I, as a child, didn't have these vacations. We lived in Florida, so we did the beaches all the time. And my mom, she did her best, but she took us to Disney World and Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, and on occasion a beach in northern Florida, or the Itchinatucky River, which is super fun. I highly recommend. But we didn't get in the car and go across country and climb a mountain. And therefore, I didn't know how to do that kind of vacation. So I didn't do it for my children. Now they're 16 and 18 now, and I'm not convinced they want to go across the country and vacation with me. So I would have to do some arm twisting. But I saw so many families out there renting those Mercedes Sprinter vans with the pop-up top. And apparently there's multiple beds in there. There's a place for sitting and cooking. And they were just traveling around all these wonderful places. They had bike racks and canoes and their dog. And, I missed out on that, but it's not too late for me. I will do that type of vacation soon, but I think you guys should give it a go too. And I actually looked up rental rates for those Sprinter vans, and you can get them for $200 to $300. That's not bad. That's kind of what you would pay for a nice hotel. It's your transportation, it's your place to cook meals, and it's your place to sleep. I think it's a really good deal. So I wouldn't want to be in the vehicle, as I personally drove up a mountain in one of those big old sprinters, but I think you should. I think you should, certainly. And if you're a good driver and you got the Sprinter van and you have extra room for a Fitz Kohler, well, then let me know and I will come vacation with you. But Red Rock Canyon, Valley of Fire, I can vouch for. They were extraordinary and fun. And here's the other thing you need when you get there. You need to have a gamer attitude, right? You can't just sit in the car. I mean, you can just sit in the car, but be ready to explore, get out. If your body works properly, do a little climbing. There's a lot of safe places to climb that, to me, aren't much more adventurous than, going up and down the steps in any sort of business. So highly recommend you step outside of your box and give that a try. And if that's within your box and you're super good at that, send me some pointers, because I want to do more of it. Oh, I would love to be able to just take a mountain and put it here in Florida, so we could have that, because I think Florida's paradise, except we don't have a mountain. So if we could have a mountain, that would be better. Okay, now I'm getting to the race, which again was heaven, because I haven't been at a race in over a year now. I participated in races, but announcing is very special. So it's an inaugural event. The Havasu Half Marathon used to take place 6-7 years ago underneath a different race organization. This new inaugural event was brought to us by Mercury Events and Gavin McKiernan, race director, who this is the first time I've worked with him. And he was wonderful. And I really admire this guy, because within a tough situation where everybody's telling you, no, you can't stay inside, hide and become a hermit, Gavin said, attack with that. I'm gonna get back to putting on races. And I believe these races, Havasu Half and the Laughlin Marathon were supposed to take place in 2020. It didn't happen, but he pushed the envelope. Arizona is now open for business. And thankfully they gave him permits. And thank you. We're going to have a station identification moment to thank you, to address my hair. So Zoe, my hairstylist, the 18-year-old behind me, says thank you as well. So Gavin put on this race, and the Havasu folks said, yeah, we can do this. And it was up to 1,000 people could participate. Now, as many of us know, 1,000 is small compared to many of our events, but compared to the past year with 0 people, 1,000 was a great score, and it was something that Mercury Events could work with. And they could hire Rudy and I to come out and make it special. And so for starters, Lake Havasu is a beautiful area. There's not one blade of grass. I didn't see one blade of grass in the whole place, which, coming from a very green town, was interesting, but it had its own beauty. And the whole community is built around this massive lake that is surrounded by 28 lighthouses and palm trees. And it reminded me of a redneck Riviera. And if you don't know what that is, that's not a curse. It's a special thing we have here in Florida, where, people bring their boats out on the springs and the river, and everybody parks their boats and has a beer and floats around in tubes and swims and has a good time. The Lake Havasu is similar. There was a ton of people out on the water. There was apparently some sort of jet skiing competition I didn't get to see, but people just, riding around with their American flags, blasting music, having a good time with a bunch of grown-ups on boats and a bunch of families. And it's just a wonderful environment. And I've never seen so many Wranglers and side-by-sides / 4Runners or 4x4s out there. It's just a very, very active community. And people like to, twirl around in the mountains in their little vehicles, and they like to be on the water. Very active, very fun. Danielle, we could go together. We are a perfect fit for a redneck Riviera. And now, mind you, not everybody was a redneck, and I use that term very comfortably, because I'm wearing camo, for crying out loud. I'm a Floridian in camo, so I take that term redneck to heart, and I appreciate it. It's special to me. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. And so now we have the race. So Friday night we have an expo, and it's on a back outdoor deck of a resort overlooking the water, which was fantastic. And you could just feel the electricity in the air as our athletes were arriving. They were so excited to be there to get their bibs and get their shirts and do a little shopping with our vendors. Big shout out to Rue Sports, guys. If you don't have one of those fanny packs or a belt to hold your stuff while you run, check out Rue Sport. They have these great pouches that clip to your pants or shorts via magnet, very strong magnets. There's a zipper pocket. You can put your keys, your credit card, your sunscreen, whatever, or your phone. And then it doesn't have a belt around your waist, so it doesn't actually look like a fanny pack. So high five to those guys. But there was quite a few booths, and I was one of them. I had my books out, my Noisy Cancer Comeback, and I sold quite a few, which was really nice. And so many, it's a great way to make new friends. There's so many people come up and say, I lost my so-and-so to cancer, or I survived cancer. I met so many survivors that were really excited to get to know each other, and they all bought my book, and I'm looking forward to hearing their feedback. It's very, it's especially special to hear from people who have gone through cancer as a caregiver or as a survivor, a patient, and their feedback is always wonderful. But I like sharing that connection. So I was happy to sell some books. Yay, book sales. And we had dinner with friends Friday night. Wonderful. Isn't it interesting where now we feel like it's such a privilege to see friends? Oh my God, we had friends. We had a hug and we sat at the table together. Can you believe it? That's ridiculous. But there we were, super excited. And on race morning, it was just, they did such a great job organizing this race. The start and finish line overlooked Lake Havasu. And so Rudy and I got out there nice and early. The sound system was extraordinary, so we can make lots of loud noise. Here's a little tidbit or detail. I do not enjoy coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker at all. But when I'm cold, I'm willing to drink it just because I warm up from the inside. And they had their local sponsor. It's called the Human Bean, B-E-A-N. And they had free coffee for everybody. So I thought, okay, I'll have some. And I liked it. Shocker of all shocker. It was actually delicious. So I don't know if you can order Human Bean coffee online, but if you're a coffee person, I would highly recommend the Human Bean out of Havasu. Extraordinary, but their committee, their volunteers were so happy to have us. And, one of the things people fail to recognize sometimes is not only racing an awesome way to get people fit and healthy. Anyone who's like, shut down those races because we may get people sick. Baloney. Getting people outside to run and exercise and be motivated to do more. That's a healthy thing. So as an actual expert on the subject, I can tell you there's no danger to racing unless you trip and fall over your own shoelaces. But yeah, they were so happy to have us. And not only was it great for the community and the health of the community, but it's great there's so much economic impact. Our hotels were filled up and the restaurants were filled up and people were shopping and spending money in Havasu. And I'm sure all those small business owners were so grateful to Gavin and Mercury Events for bringing us there, because, everybody gets a boost. So if you're one of those people who's ever a decision maker on whether a race will or won't go, you got to say go. Okay. It's the cream of the crop of human being. And we bring so much good to a community. I highly recommend. Oh, Tanya gained so much weight, not getting out this past year. Yeah. Interesting, right? Everyone's like, stay in, be a hermit, hide under your covers and order takeout because it's good for your health. We're concerned about your health. Not once has Fauci and his little cronies stood on the stage and said, listen, you want to be low risk, you want to be a healthy person, get out and exercise. Go to the produce section, get something of 5 different colors and ingest it because it's very good for your immune system. Nobody's done that. Not once. And I know this because I've been waiting and listening, and they're not about you being healthy. They're about them being in control. So let's not be confused about any of that. But yeah, racing is wonderful for your health. And the people that are training, they probably exercise 50 different times in preparation for something like a half marathon. And so, yes, it breeds a healthy society. And yeah, we got out there. We had our efforts to keep people separate were pretty simple and wonderful. They had pylons spaced 6 feet apart at the start line, going about 20 feet back, and we broke our starting waves into little corrals, 100 people at a time, which was great because Rudy and I got to yell "go" extra times, which we really enjoyed doing. But yeah, I was able to tell people, hey, everyone go up and grab a pylon. And they stood next to their pylon and they were separate. And magic, right? Nobody had to freak out because we were 4 feet apart. But it was just a happy experience, and people were so excited to be there. And for most everybody, it's the first race they had participated in since March of last year. So it's just lots of warm and fuzzies, lots of excitement. Yeah, Martha took part. It was really clever, wasn't it? It was just simple. And I know all the race directors are doing their best to try to figure out how to make their races work, how to get their business up and going again and get people up and active. And some are putting stickers on the ground, and they're trying all sorts of things. I thought the pylon move was brilliant. They just put them down, and I was able to say something simple like, go grab a pylon. And when you were with your own pylon, you knew you were separated from the next guy. And I know, I believe Buffalo Marathon is using that tactic too in their game plan for hopefully bringing us back in late May. But yeah, so lots of energy at the start line. And as an inaugural race, it couldn't have gone better. I can't think of any glitches other than me losing my cell phone like an idiot because I put it down in my jacket for about half an hour. The only glitch was in here. But yeah, it was a glitch-free event. And the feedback from every runner was that it was a beautiful course. They had lots of fun, and it was windy. I'll say it was really windy. Are you sure? Was it windy? Yes, it was windy. But you know what? A little headwind is just fine. It wasn't windy like Big Sur, where you're trying to climb Hurricane Point and, the winds of the gods are like, get back down there. It was windy, and it also kept them cool, which is nice. We didn't really have to deal with anyone being dehydrated or having those effects, other weather effects. There's Tyler. Tyler, I am so proud of you. She is crushing breast cancer right now, and apparently she's singing every day, which I appreciate. Tyler, I got to know as the anthem singer for the Monterey Bay Half Marathon, and she's also military. So Tyler, we're all rooting for you. I'm happy to see your happy face. I love your profile pic. We got Tanya here. Trust me. Tanya, where do you live? Put that in the comment section. I want to see where you're coming from. But yeah, I'm so excited. Races are coming back. Now, this is the only sad part of the event. As I was standing in the finish line, running back and forth with all our athletes, is that normally in my real life, I would have another event next week and the week after. They just keep coming, and the joy keeps coming, and the friends keep coming, and the celebrations keep coming. And so sadly, I don't have a race this weekend. It'll be another month or so before I get back out there, but I'll take what I can get. Nashville, you know what, Tanya? I am dying to announce a race in Nashville. In fact, I just would like to come to Nashville. I've been there once on someone picked me up at the airport and drove me away, but I was supposed to announce a Wonder Woman race in Nashville last year. And everything fell apart, right? So Tanya, I'm going to put you in charge of giving me a good reason to come make noise in Nashville, because I would like to do that. And hopefully nobody expects me to sing because I'm super bad. But yeah, so we had the half marathon, and I believe there was about 650 athletes doing our half marathon. We had about 350 doing our 5K, and then 180 of those people did both races. So we had the Lighthouse Challenge, and the medals were magnificent. I wish I would have brought one of mine. Do I have one out here? I do not. Trust me, medals are fantastic. There's even a spinner sunshine. I'll have to share that another time. I'm sorry. Let's see where's. Okay, I got no medal here, but medals were great. And this is what I want from you guys, is I want you to seriously consider this event for next year. They stepped outside the box. They pushed the envelope. They put on an incredible event that was glitch-free, and they deserve to sell out. And next year, we're certainly going beyond 1,000 participants, but registration is available right now, and it's as cheap as it will get. So Havasu, it's a beautiful community. You get to be out on the lake, and It was wonderful, worth the flight. And if you fly into Las Vegas like I did, then you could build in some slot machines and some hiking in the canyon. It's a wonderful adventure. You could definitely bring your whole family. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, it was just a great weekend. Yay racing, yay race announcing, yay for making happy noise. Rudy and I absolutely appreciate those of you who said you made the trip specifically for us. That is one of the most flattering things on the planet. When people say, Fitz, I got on a plane and I came across the country because you were on the microphone. Katie Luther. I never met Katie before. She introduced herself. She said, I want to let you know that I'm here because I saw you were announcing the race. So she came across the country because I was announcing. And, you know, Rudy and I have Kit and Rich Williams and Warren and Irene Ward and Jeremy Howes and our new friend Cooge. And I mean, there's Natalie Oyeno and Sean Matlock and endless amount of friends that came out because we were announcing. So that's pretty powerful stuff that hits us right in the heart. Oh, and here's the other thing. So I met a really interesting girl, Ingrid Walters. You could look her up. She's one of the breast cancer survivors that came up and bought my book and we made friends. She is, she's about the same amount, maybe 6 months further out than I am. So I finished chemo last May. I think she finished treatment a few months before I did, but man, what a whippy girl. You know, I've been working really hard on getting back to being me because, you know, chemo and treatment just really wreaked havoc on me. She came in 3rd place. And in 2019, I guess right before her diagnosis, she won the LA Marathon Open Division. So Open Division means just not declared elite athletes. But yeah, she's a champion runner that crushed breast cancer. And now she's out there looking hot in her little running outfit and burning up the pavement with her speed. So she was a lot of fun. And she's an actress. So look her up. I'm sure you've seen her in one of your favorite shows. It's Ingrid Walters. And she's a lovely, lovely lady who I'm super happy to have friend. And then Roosevelt Cook, I don't know if maybe my California runners will recognize his name, but he's one of our favorite runners from Southern California. And this is our new trend. Well, it's been going on for a while, but when Roosevelt wins a race, I go down and we dance together. And it's fantastic. So I was kind of rooting for Roosevelt. I don't normally pick favorites, but I actually didn't know any of the other speedsters, so I was rooting for Roosevelt. But he won, and we celebrated with dancing. And what a cool guy. I mean, to finish his race and then come back, and he cheered on every other athlete as they crossed the finish. And they might not have even known that he was the number one of the day, but what a sweetheart. And he's a PE teacher in middle school, which I really appreciate. And then when my phone went missing, he and Rudy worked very, very hard to try and get me my phone back. I thought maybe it was stolen. And at that point, you know what I thought? F it. What can I do? Phone's gone. You know, so many people would have melted down, cried, freaked out about losing the phone. And, you know, I'm back to saying it's not cancer. Oh, well, I'll have to buy a new one. Or it's not that I have all the money raining from the sky, but what can you do when it's gone? It's gone. But it wasn't gone. It was in my jacket pocket. And at some point I took my jacket off and I put it down next to the finish line and didn't put it back up on my little announcer table and forgot it was there. And so sweet Roosevelt, he just kept calling. And finally, when the music hushed a little bit, we could hear the ring. So I'm a dork. That's the moral of that story. Thank you, Roosevelt, for supporting me in my dorkiness. Okay, so moving on. And remember, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. We're almost done here. So I'm going to shut up in a few moments. But I just posted a stretching video on Fitzness on Facebook, and it's also on YouTube, but it's called Upper Body Stretches with Bands. I want you to go look at it, and I want you to do it. It's so good for you. Remember, with strength training, you need 48 hours rest between training a particular muscle. Stretching, you can do all day, every day. And if you're sedentary, if you're stuck at a desk and you're just not moving like you should be, these stretches are some of my favorite. And you can use an exercise band, you can use a belt, you can use a rope of any sort, you can even use a broomstick for most of them. But I think everybody needs to do a little bit more. Share that video with your spouse, share it with your best friend, and then share it with your parent. Because imagine your parent qualifies as a grown-up, being a parent, and they probably need a little bit of it too. I'm going to get my mom to do some of those stretches today. Gasparilla is around the corner, May 8th and 9th. So I told you we don't have too much on my announcing agenda. It's trickling in, but May 8th and 9th in Tampa, Florida. It is not the big, gigantic race, but it is a hybrid race, and we're still going to have a blast. There's still thousands of people descending on Tampa for Gasparilla, May 8th and 9th. We've got, I'm going to scrub the distances, but I think a 5K, 8K, 15K, and half marathon. You can do each race. You can do all four, or you can do one. It's your choice at your leisure on Bayshore Boulevard. The road will be open between 5 a.m. and 11:45 a.m. I will be at the official. There will be start and finish line structures. I will be there making happy noise. You will have your shirt. You will have your medal. We want you to dress like a pirate. Our matey, we want you to dress like a pirate. I will be dressed like a pirate. And we expect to have a hell of a lot of fun. Florida's open for business. Tampa's open. So you do your run with friends in the morning with me. And then you go to the beach, or you go to the museum or the restaurant or the bar to have a great time. So please register for Gasparilla. Anybody could run any time of day or whatever, but you have to register to get the shirt and the medal and be admitted to Bayshore. So we really want you out there. Please join me, Gasparilla, because I'm still hug deprived. I need more. And then after that, we've got our fingers crossed for Buffalo. So if you're registered for Buffalo already, hooray. If not, I think it's sold out, but we're moving in the right direction. And more importantly, it seems like everyone is moving in some regard. And so that's my big ask of you, is to get moving. If you're not already a part of it, I have my Hottie Body Fitzness Challenge on Facebook. It's an online training group. I give you all the instructions and the support you need. You get the exact formula for weight loss, which is always housed on the cover of fitzness.com. If you want to learn how to eat the right amount of the right food for the size you want to be, go to the cover of fitzness.com, read exact formula for weight loss. But within the Hottie Body Challenge, every single day, I assign you a workout and I give you video instructionals on how to work out. So if I tell you to do 10 devil's press and you have no idea what that is, you just watch the video and I lead you through it. And I think I have about 100 different videos in the catalog, and 9 of them are brand new. And so I've added some really fun stuff: sprinter sit-ups and high plank, side hops, glutes with bands, devil's press. What else is there? I don't know. I guess, lots of Supermans. You're just going to have to go and try them. That's the moral of the story. And you can always find that workout catalog on my Fitzness Facebook page and on Fitzness on YouTube. So that is it for me today. Again, this is the Fitzness Show podcast. I've just moved it to video, and you can always find it on YouTube. And I would love it if you went running and listened and told your friends, and follow me at Fitzness on Instagram too, because there's a lot of fun content going there. But that's it. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Go find some athletic adventure and get to work. Bye, team. Bye.